Hello, and welcome to the Weekly Troll Podcast. My name is Ryan.
And I'm lost in this dungeon. I don't know how any of these traps work.
And today we're doing our very first adventure discussion on the show, which feels weird because we've always said, if you want to read the adventure, buy the fucking game. But, you know, we live, we learn, and we do stuff different. And today we're looking at Barrow of the Elf King by Treme, an exploratory location for fantasy tabletop adventure games. Woo!
Woo! Woo!
Woo! Before that, because here's the thing, friends, you know, lovers,
Romans, countrymen,
yeah, lend me your ears. Yeah, I'm letting you know now. I'm gonna get loud in this one probably, and I'm gonna try to stay calm, but this is gonna be one where I rant. Different than all the other episodes.
Where you're so calm,
yeah, where I'm calm, I don't yell and everything. But man, I got shit to say. And before that, you know, let's bring it down. How are you doing, buddy? How's your day?
Fine. I just got off work and now I'm here. But I didn't play any tabletop games this week because my group bailed again. My work schedule got changed, and so we had to change days, and we're having a lot worse turnout on the day we've changed to. So hopefully it's temporary.
Yeah.
I did paint some terrain. I made some terrain on Monday for, you know, ostensibly I'll run Mech 28 in person eventually. So that.
Sick.
4-inch tall mechs, though, you know?
We gotta get you some mechs printed. I actually got the original minis from Flames of Orion when they were first kind of putting it out.
Yeah.
Had some minis made. I believe they were from Ramshackle, where I got them. So I bought those, but also the Flames of Orion Kickstarter. Flames of Orion from Steve of the Hive Scum podcast. The Kickstarter was a while ago. They dropped the STL files for those, which have a bunch of made mechs, but then all the parts. So if you make your own mech in the game, you can put it together. Perfect for Mech 28.
Yeah.
So we can always get those sized correctly and get those printed up, and you could actually get some mechs for.
When did Flames of Orion come out?
It hasn't come out yet. The Kickstarter, there was an update today talking about it, but the quick start's out already. You can play with what's out, but there was an update today about some like art. Oh, Let. I don't know if you know Let. Let's done a lot of stuff in like Merkborg, Cyborg, stuff like that. The artist, drop some art from them, and
Cool.
But yeah, we were gonna do Necropolis this coming weekend as our next not weekly war game, but I just forgot that you need to do setup for that. And it's my job to do that, and I didn't make a Necropolis board in Tabletop Simulator, but Hunter had already made a Mech 28 board, so we're gonna run some Mech 28 while I build a Necropolis board, and from that I might also build a Sunrot board because I really want to play Sunrot.
I have not gone through that one yet, so
Sunrot.
Cool.
Fucks. It's really incredible. But yeah, we'll look at that stuff. Where was the tangent that got us into make? Oh, you made terrain. So you're making sci-fi terrain, like city.
I did.
Terrain.
Yeah, I made a Broodlist building. So we didn't work very long. So
I do not care how pretentious it is. Brutalism goes so fucking hard. And if I ever owned a home that I could build from scratch with all the money that I want, it would be nothing but like black and concrete and brutalism, and then like honestly just an RGB underglow neon lights everywhere, so I never have to turn on an overhead light.
The worst.
No, but night shift. I just want everything in purples and reds, so I never have to turn on an overhead light, and I can just exist in darkness. That's all I want.
Yeah, my dream home is like a cottage core cabin in the woods. So
no, mine is literally like from the outside it's just a giant cement brutalist structure. On the inside it's just black with like red lights. That's all I want.
Perfect.
That's all I want. I just want a crypt. Realistically, I just
want
like
vampires.
I want to like Vampire the Masquerade 2025 vampire crypt. You know what I mean? Like with all the electronic bells and whistles. That's all I fucking want.
I'm worried that game's gonna be bad.
Oh, of course. Fuck. I mean, listen, I could not care less. I'm not going to play it. I never played the original ones.
Oh, the original
and I
one's
had no
so
desire
good.
to. I couldn't care. White Wolf as a company just is awful, and I don't believe that they're going to be better now. So, like, I'm not even putting any stock into it. You know, it can only be so racist and bigoted and apologize so many times for all the shit that it stuffs into its magazines
Well,
before
they
you
can
just
always
like,
apologize one more time, you know?
yeah, whatever. Very glad that I wasn't near like a Vampire the Masquerade LARP scene when I was younger.
Yeah,
Because
no
I would be,
kidding.
you know how much worse I would be now?
You can be worse?
I know, right?
This
It's
isn't as
terrible.
bad as it gets?
God, I wish I lived near like I wish I lived near like a Warhammer store or something when I was younger. But not like it would have mattered. My parents would have never let me play any of that shit
Right.
anyway. But yeah. Is that our time? Is that our time? Is that our dick around time in the beginning?
Yep, that's our dick around time.
It's our dick around time. So, Meat Castle is here now in the chat. You have not missed anything. Just our dick around time. So yeah, so we're going over an adventure today. It is the first one we're going to do on the show. So we didn't really talk about the format beforehand because I think we were both kind of busy this week. We're going to wing it, and then we'll probably do it poorly, and then come up with a better format after, because that seems to be what we do on the show.
Yeah.
So, as I said, we're going over Barrow of the Elf King. So, info, as per normal here on the show, Barrow of the Elf King was released in 2021. It's 16 pages, has 10 rooms or locations, because one's not a room, and is suggested for a party of 3 to 4 level 1 adventurers using the vanilla game by Jared Sinclair, or any OSR-ish, whatever, right? Whatever that term means. It does have an HTML version that is free, which is dope. I was going to bring that up. I'll bring that up so we can show, because that's cool as hell. Otherwise, it's pay what you want. And it says on there, the HTML version, the version you can run and play and see and do everything, will always be free, which is dope. And if you want the PDF zine version, it's $5, and then you get more stuff when you download it. So that's kind of the info on it. What are we doing next? Do you want to give? So the pitch that I have written down for it is pretty much just a pitch from the itch page. Do you want me to do the pitch, and do you want to do like an overview of it after? Like what? Like where do we want to go from here?
Yeah, let's
most
do
most of my notes are
pitch.
just rants. Yeah.
Oh, most of my notes are, I went through and listed all the things I liked and why I liked them. We don't have to go through every single beat. It was more just so I had an idea in my head, like what my overarching like things I liked about this adventure were.
Yeah, because we're definitely not going to read through the adventure. Like at the end of the day,
we're
even
gonna
though
read
it's free,
every word. So
yeah, I mean, it's short enough. We could.
We really could.
We don't do that
minor
anymore on the show.
spoilers ahead though, because we are going to touch on things that happen in this.
Yeah.
So if you're like, wow, I really want to play this and not run it, maybe quit after Ryan says his next spot. You know?
Yeah. So the pitch from the itch page is deep. Oh, you know what? Well, why don't we kick over to at least the front of the zine here. We'll go to the front of the zine. Let me zoom down to page level. Barrow of the Elf King. For those in podcast land, this version is just white. In the middle is a rectangle with a tree inside of it, and below that it says Barrow of the Elf King in a dope black letter font. The pitch from the itch page says, deep in the old forest, where the trees grow tall and thick, where the sun rarely pierces the canopy, is an earthen mound. No birds sing in this part of the forest, no wind blows. The leaves of the trees seem larger, the canopy thicker. Even at midday, it is almost too dark to see. Pretty dope. Goes hard.
Fucking tick.
Yeah. There's also a quote from Yates in the front, which is pretty cool. And if joy were not on the earth, there were an end of change and birth, and earth and heaven and hell would die, and in some gloomy barrow lie, folded like a frozen fly. Yates from The Wanderings of Oisin. Yeah, pretty sick. Public domain art. There's a sick map, and then it gets right into it. I kind of want to show. Let me bring up that HTML version I wanted to show off real quick, and then we'll get into the adventure stuff. So let me hit like a studio mode. Oh. People to see my itch account name. Just hide that real quick. Ha-ta-ta, ha-ta-ta. Noise, background noise. Damn, that was signed into a different account. 1 second.
All right, I'll wait right here.
Do that. It's not the same. I guess it just runs directly on the page. It's literally dead noise. Can you make noise? Can you hey
Yeah, sorry.
juggle?
Hello everyone. I'm totally conscious right now and not coming down off of work. You know. How's your morning been, Ryan?
You know, big chillin'. All right, here you go.
Chilling.
Good enough. So this right here is Barrow of the Elf King in dark mode because all of my shit's in dark mode. But as you can see, it runs directly on the website. Like you can literally from itch read the entire adventure in like a straight scroll HTML version, and that version comes when you download the thing too. Yeah. I'm just gonna get rid of that. That's not doing what I wanted to do. But for those in podcast land, you're not going to see what happens next because I'm going to show on my phone another cool thing that when you actually do that, see my phone, right?
I see it.
You can hit run dungeon directly from the itch page and it loads that directly into your phone and you can run a mobile version of the adventure right from your phone. That's incredible. That. I wish everything had this, that you could just have the notes in like a mobile version. There are some RPGs that have been putting out like kind of mobile versions, especially for adventures and stuff, where it's just blown big, it's just sized to your shit so you don't need to worry about margins and stuff. And I think that's great. I love using my phone or iPads and stuff like that for running stuff when I run stuff.
Me too. I've been dragging my laptop down a lot, but yeah, I've been using my iPad a little bit more. Very convenient.
Yeah. So after the stirring radio that just was,
sorry.
Do you want to give a quick what was the next thing? Do you want to give a quick spoilers head? A quick just kind of rundown of like what you were thinking like for doing this?
What was like, I even thinking? Yeah, some light spoilers, y'all. So there's like we said, there's 9 rooms, 10 locations. And there are a bunch of like really solid encounters and traps that are very, very HPS, you know, like
yes,
like it's every adventure I've gone through by Highland Paranormal Society, Nate Treme, I enjoy the like simple little puzzles and traps and encounters that you come across. It's not just your bog standard stuff. So let's go through some of my favorites. There's not many in here, so we're gonna kind of touch on a few of them.
Yeah, I mean, so realistically, you would say what? There's 2 kind of bosses in here.
Yes,
and then I would say two kind of like role play opportunity-ish encounters, I think.
Yes.
So yeah. So the 2 bosses are the Elf King,
the titular Elf King.
Yeah. And then the spider, which is surprisingly actually the stronger of the 2 bosses.
Right.
Statistics wise, it is a 4D monster, not a 3D monster. Which did you like better, the titular Elf King or the spider? Her name is or their name is
Sargmotra Sin Spinner.
Yeah, 4 HD, and the Elf King Ghost is 3 HD. Sargmotra or the Elf King?
I like both of them for different reasons. Like spoilers ahead, y'all. I like the hourglass mechanism with the elf boss.
It's pretty dope.
Like if the sand is running an hourglass, the ghost of this Elf King appears, and you can challenge him in combat. And if you win, you get something. But also you could just flip the hourglass, you know, and be like, we're not fucking dealing with this right now.
Yeah, or break it or do anything you want. Yeah.
But you could also just make it like where the sand stops falling, and then you're like, cool, we'll just come back to this later. And I totally see my party doing that. Unfortunately, we did not get to run this last night because everyone in my group except one person bailed. But we were going to, and I'm bummed we didn't. And then For Sargamatra, I'm gonna have to. I have it written right here, but I haven't said it out loud yet. I like the potential for them becoming a patron.
Dude is sick. She's my
What
favorite.
a
She's my
great
favorite thing.
idea. So
I mean,
yeah,
I keep saying she, but I'm pretty sure it's a they the whole time. But my like Loth is just deeply embedded into my soul.
right.
So
Totally.
that's
Edgelord, right.
Yeah. But I don't think there's ever an explicit thing. But I don't know. I mean, Charlotte's Web too. Every time I think of like a spider, I just assume they're female. Like,
well, the spider from Lord of the Rings is also a female. So
yeah, I shouldn't assume a spider's gender, but I mean, that's that's my social conditioning, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I don't believe it's ever explicitly stated. You know what I like most about it is the opportunity, like you just said, like the patron aspect.
Yes.
Which without, I mean, we're not going to say spoilers every time we say something. We've already said it.
No, we've said it. We're good.
But the fact that basically you will get spider abilities if you let them bite you, but you then have to bring them a victim once a month forever. Because if you don't, because it has to keep being reapplied, like, because otherwise it basically turns to poison and you'll die. Mm-hmm. So you're fucked for life if you take this ability. But like, that's dope at level 1. Well, to have.
You can resist it. You have to make 3 saving throws 3 days in a row.
Yeah, a saving throw 3 days in a row at level. I mean, at level 1 that sucks, but at higher levels you might be able to eventually break out, which I also think is incredible.
Yeah.
Let me keep it a buck. I wouldn't even let them finish talking. I'd be like, "Yep, bite me. Let's do this thing."
Yeah, I think it's really funny. I think it's like it's also cool because like, listen, 5e's bad, and I'm gonna reference it. I narratively love the Warlock because I love the idea of having this third-party patron that provides you power and then like gets involved in some way, or you are like at their beck and call. And I think this is like a really interesting, natural way to have like a patron that gives you an ability. Yeah. The way they kind of like disrupt what you're doing is that you have to once a month bring them a person to devour. Yeah.
Which is like a monthly quest you're gonna have to go on in the future anyway too. Which eventually, you're gonna do it for a while, and if you continue a longer campaign with this, eventually you are gonna be like, fuck, we can't be doing this every month. We are. There's a distance that we can reach that before we need to come back, and we need to exceed that distance. One of my other favorite parts about this is one of the things that Nate does incredibly in their dungeons. And we'll get into the style of Nate's dungeons and play and adventures and stuff after this, I think. But the skeleton room is incredible to me.
I love the skeleton room.
The opportunity for role play, and then we'll come back to why it matters in the spider's lair. So there's a room, the guard room, where there's just a bunch of skeletons hanging out. They're gambling at a table, betting their armor and even their bones if they lose while they're gambling. Apparently there was an ancient enchantment that kept them here, but it is now faded away, and it specifically says that they are just bored out of their fucking minds. And every time you talk to them, they end every kind of interaction with, okay, time for you to go. It's getting late. Why don't you hit the old dusty trail, motherfuckers?
I love that they're set there to guard, but they're like, yeah, cool, great talk. I guess we'll see you later.
Yeah. You know? Bye. But, what I really like is one of the things that Nate does a lot with the dungeons is writes a story without telling a story, right? Like gives opportunity for narrative. So there are a couple of skeletons in this room. There is another skeleton somewhere. Do you remember where the skeleton is?
I do. Yeah.
So they are wrapped up in silk in the spider's lair, which is just such a great. So one thing that's great about dungeon design is when you put loops in like quote unquote Jaquang, or I prefer Sursa Victory's this like cyclic dungeon design, right? Putting loops in dungeon is great. This game it kind of has a loop in it, but this is in my mind like a narrative loop. This, you go forward and then you go back because you found the skeleton, and you're going to go back to the skeletons again. So it causes you to make like a circle back deep into the dungeon again if you free that skeleton to take him back to the other skeletons, which is dope. Which then also gives you an opportunity for potential treasure. What, we can skip that one. Leave a little something for the readers.
Yeah.
But that one's great. And then the two other kind of things in the dungeon are, one, the goblin and a barrel, which it literally is just like, oh, we got to throw in the goblin NPC that everyone's gonna fucking love, right?
Yeah, the child. Yeah, the lost child. Yeah.
Yeah, the lost child goblin that just becomes like the pet, basically. And then the other one here that really matters is the royal organ storage, where they had stuffed all the organs and like worms were eating them up. And it just leaves a couple of the Elf King's organs there. Won't get into that too much, but that's basically the adventure. And then we didn't talk about the entrance, which I think is also incredible. The way to get into, so basically,
the 3 stones.
Yeah, there's a puzzle, and it's a fallen cairn. So it's 3 massive stones that are all the same shape, but one can be lifted by one person, one has to be lifted by at least 2 people, one has to be lifted by at least 3. And you have to stack them before the tunnel will open. To me, that feels incredible. That feels very like folklore in a way, when folklore was folklore, kind of myth, not magic. You know what I mean? It feels old world. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you're calling to something, I
just like that it is a puzzle that is fairly simple, but I know that when it's solved, you'll feel like, I did a thing, like you'll feel satisfaction of having solved it.
I'm going to keep it a buck. I guarantee there's people that every one shot is a 2-shot because of things like this. Because people are going to be like, we got to spell something out. Like, we got to put them on their heads. We got to roll them over. Like, we got to
make all the 3 stones into leather. It's like, no, there's 3 big stones.
Yeah. I love that.
I love the skull trap immediately afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Oh God. Yeah. The inked skulls. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I thought it was a very interesting and fun trap that I know my party would fall for, because they would see a skull with jeweled eyes and go, cool, and pick that shit up.
Yank it, and how many stones are in here? It's a shitload, right? Or is it just like 3?
What do you mean? How many skulls?
How many stones?
4 skulls.
4, 2 on each side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jewels in the eyes and attached to wires. So if you yank it, tunnel collapses.
It does quite a bit of damage, like a potentially
3d6 for a first level party. Yeah, it's crazy.
I think the only other part that I like, I really want to talk about, because I think it's such a clever, a trap, is the magic well.
Yeah,
or the well full of magic water.
It is really funny. Yeah. It's great.
So funny. Basically, there is a well in one of these rooms that has something in it under this water, and this water is enchanted. It is like not acid. Basically, it only burns inanimate objects. So when your characters jump in with their weapons on or their backpack on, their skin will be fine, but all their stuff will dissolve. And I'm like, that's an amazing trap,
Yeah. And there are ways throughout the dungeon where you can learn the like how it works so that it doesn't happen to you.
Yes.
But
my characters are dumb. My players are barbarians that sometimes pick not the barbarian class, and they would absolutely, without a doubt, be like, okay, well, let's just jump in, see what happens. And I'd be like, go for it. I would not ask them if they took anything off. And when they got in there, I'd be like, yes, you jumped in with all your gear on, so
all your shit melts.
Yeah, you're naked, so.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, no, I guess it wouldn't burn you even if your stuff was melting, because this is burning the stuff. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, I even like the way to get out, like having a hole in an oak tree. But like even to the point where it says it's just big enough to squeeze through, and you have to pass packs through. I'm like, that's such a good narrative,
Yeah, it really is.
So going over the way, is there anything else specific you wanted to talk about in the adventure?
No, it was kind of it. That's like we already talked about most of the dungeon, but there's a couple things we didn't. But it's a good, fun, short dungeon, Yeah,
which is great. And so talking about the structure of the adventure, basically, it's each room is 1 page. When there's room, there's a little piece of art on it. You get at the top, you get the room number, the kind of like the room name, you get description all the way through, and then at the very bottom, it gives you all of the entrances and exits from the room. It's definitely told in a way that, and Nate, almost all of Nate's adventures are like this. It gives you all the information you need from kind of the most important information down, right? And but it doesn't give you, I'll say, I think I could say this without any reservations, Nate Treme's dungeons or adventures in general are my favorite adventures.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why, and let me get this out before I start ranting, because this is going to be the de-evolution into ranting.
Here we go, y'all.
No, we're not there yet. But they give you information in such a great way, without giving you. They give you opportunity for narrative without giving you story, is what I'm trying to say. As in, they don't say, if the characters do this, then this guy says that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. This is called an exploratory location. This is how I want adventures, and this is why I say I hate adventures. I genuinely dislike the vast majority of adventures that are out there because I don't want to use them, and because most adventures feel like someone wrote a story and then figured out how to stat it. Which I hate. I hate it. I don't want adventures. Just give me locations. Give me the stuff and people at the locations and let the players tell the fucking story. Like, just emergent narrative. That, like, I don't... anything else, again, just feels like you should have just wrote a novel. Like, just write a short story. If that's what you want, if your adventure has a beginning, a middle, and an end, if it has a plot arc to it, it's not an adventure. Like, it is, you know what I mean? Like, you know, if you're uncovering something like a town, there's a weird thing that you're uncovering. That's might be a little bit different because the thing is actively happening and you are figuring it out, and that is the play. But like 5e adventures in general, like you can just flip to the end and know how the adventure ends. Then that's not, again, it should have just been a short story. There's this thing that Nate posted a while ago. Let me find it. That is kind of, I think, their ethos on gaming, basically. And I'm like, I 1,000,000% agree with it. So I wanted to go over it a little bit, and this will kind of like explain the point a little bit, at least what I'm trying to say. But this is from Nate posted this on some social media, and it is just a set. It's just like a little set of points, right, with a little piece of art in the bottom, and these are the points. It says, there is no plot. Stories are mere relics of the adventure that emerges during play. Couldn't possibly agree with that more. And this is why I don't like adventures. Like, I want my players to play the game. I don't want to guide them through it. It says, build paths, not walls. Do not try to plan for everything. Learn to react. This talent develops with practice. That's a big one I'm going to rant about in a little bit. The imagined world is real. Let its denizens have goals, desires, and schemes with which the players must contend. Be generous with information. Knowledge allows players to make informed decisions as they engage with the world. Use proper tools. There are myriad adventures, random tables, and ideas at your disposal. Take what you need. The world is not precious. The players will disrupt and soil the world you have prepared. This should be encouraged. Prioritize joy and safety. Establish why you are playing and do not introduce troubling content without consent. And the last is, do not suffer the ghouls of bigotry and fascism at your table. Remove them from the game quickly and viciously. Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
And this is how I like to play games. And this is why, again, why I think that Nate's adventures resonate with me so much is if this is their play ethos when they're actually like playing and running games, this is clearly the ethos they do when they're writing adventures, which comes through in the adventure, right? Like we've talked about this over and over again with adventures from them, like What Child Is This? The 5e Godchild adventure. It's just, you can go through the adventures, and one of my favorite things is, like I said, it will give you a room, it will give you who's in there, it might give you the demeanor of those people, but it will never say like, if they say this, then you do that, if they do this, it covers that. Like, it's not giving you the story, like it's just giving you the circumstances in which to play. And that is why I love Nate's adventures so much, and that's why this one is a great adventure. It's a quick level 1 adventure where you get to battle basically like a forest god, an elf king ghost, you know, and then you get your goblin companion. Boom, level 1, you're done, you know, like you got it all. What do you what do you think of what I just said?
I mean, I don't have a lot like meaningful to add to that. I very very much agree. Like, I mean, a lot of times when I do run more adventures than you do.
Yes.
I like to run adventures, but I throw out a bunch of stuff. Like, I'm never it's never on rails with my party. Like, I just have a good I know what's in there, and I know kind of like what each NPC's goal kind of is and what's going on in the area. And then whatever story emerges from that is whatever the 5 or 6 almost sociopath homeless people that roam my game worlds do, like, so
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going to happen. Most of these, like, it's just like there's people there and they feel certain ways and they have their own ambitions and goals, and there's stuff for y'all to find. Have fun.
Yeah.
They come across an NPC, and if there's NPCs that are set up for the adventure, like, I'll use the broad strokes for them. But yeah, I keep it pretty open format. So Nate Tremes are great. I mean, I've run the Moldy Unicorn and the dungeon right after that from I'm forgetting words. Please help.
Haunted Almanac? I mean, it's from other stuff too.
Yeah, it's from Haunted Almanac, but what game was I thinking?
Is it the game that follows it in Haunted Almanac? I mean, the games are what? Pearl, there's and I have all of them. I can just grab
The best game.
Quick.
My favorite one.
Tunnel Goons?
Tunnel Goons, thank you. It's a Tunnel Goons adventure. I mean, you can pretty much play with anything. Yeah, I had a great time with that. But again, it's like there's some clever little I'm doing so bad. There's some clever traps, some fun interactions, there's some puzzles. It's a very great adventure just like this is, Sorry, I'm so stupid today, everyone.
Yeah, you are kind of dumb today, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm a fucking idiot, bro.
Fuck. I can't find it. It's somewhere back here. I've reorganized, but the Haunted Almanac from Nate, printed by Games Omnivorous, is, in my opinion, one of the most essential pieces of game, of play, of literature, of whatever.
Absolutely.
In the indie TTRPG space, I don't think there is anything much better that someone like newer to the space, older to the space, whatever, especially newer designers and stuff, should read than that, because it is such an amazing gathering of simple but incredibly clever games, fairly like adventures like this that are just clean, concise, but extremely evocative and fun. It is just a immaculate resource for, I don't know, just unlock it. The first time I read Tunnel Goons was one of the games that broke my brain, where I was just like, oh my god, like, look how simple but complex this is. Like, look how clever this is. Like, I mean, even just like picking your cape color is such a huge thing, but such a small thing, and that feels like a lot of what Nate does. Is something you think seems so kind of like simple or straightforward, has an incredible amount of depth to it, which I think is always incredibly interesting. We were actually going to do a different adventure, which was the Fane of the Snouted Pope. I love that one, but we decided not to because a lot of Nate's adventures are on their itch page, but that is on their Patreon, and a lot of stuff on Patreon is on itch, but that one is not. So it felt kind of weird doing one that is behind a purposeful paywall.
Absolutely.
And that is, but also because it's also just not available if you don't back to Patreon. Like, if we picked another one that's on the Patreon but then also got to the itch, you could at least buy it on itch. So it's weird to be like, here's an adventure you can't have unless you back the Patreon, which you should. You absolutely should. It's one of the best Patreons out there for designers, or for indie TTRPG people. But yeah, okay, all right, it's time for the rants. First,
go for it.
First, I do want to say there is a cool thing. There's a Cairn conversion. I know a couple of people that have run this, and I think almost all of them ran it in Cairn. You can run it in, I think you said you were going to prep it in Bastards. Obviously, you can run it with the vanilla game if you have the vanilla game, which mine
it's
are
a very simple dungeon and there's not like a ton, like even the magic items, which there are actually like several in this dungeon, and they're all very interesting. They're all also like generic-ish enough, or what they do is easy enough to modify to like any game.
Yeah. And then there's also I wanted to pull up the Cairn page, but this is being weird and not showing the thing, and I don't feel like adding another resource. But on Cairn's website, you can go to the adventure conversion section, and it literally gives you a room by room conversion chart for it. So, for example, like, you know, Goblin in a Barrel, run it as written, but then in the guard room as written, but it gives stats for the skeleton guard that would convert them over to Cairn. So really quick, simple, straightforward document to be able to run it in a slightly different adventure, so you don't have to do a whole lot of work for it. There's a bunch of stuff over for these conversions on Cairn that are really fun. But that would be really fun to run in Cairn or Cairn 2e, or this would be. I mean, again, Nate stuff, and for as much as the OSR exists, which I don't even get me fucking started. That's not the rant for today.
Different rant.
For the dungeon-ish game that uses probably D20s or whatever, you know, they're all mostly compatible just by tweaking a couple of things. Cairn is one of the really great ones to run stuff in, especially since it's a, you know, Mark of the Odd, you know, into the Odd Descendant. So all right, let's talk about why I hate adventures and most of the discussion around them. So one comment on this page, right, from this adventure, I'm just going to read it. It said, a small dungeon without context or story. Easy to run, but quite frustrating if your players don't think like the designer. It lacks diverse ways to tackle challenges and a more detailed setting.
Bro, well, if you don't tell me all the diverse ways to tackle things, there's no way I, as an independent human, could come up with my own means. I need the answer to every question, Ryan.
It's like there has to be 20 ways that you can talk to this goblin child, or it's a terrible adventure, right? And this is one of the things that I fucking hate about adventures. Like, there's people that for some reason think that if the adventure doesn't hold your hand
pick you up and carry you all the way through,
if the adventure doesn't hold your hand, guide you all the way through it, and then walk you home, and then pick you up and carry you across the threshold, and then rub your feet and cook you dinner, and then take you up to the bedroom and fuck you gently to completion, and then cuddle you to sleep, then it is somehow a bad adventure. And that, honestly, you're bad GMs.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to. Like, the fact that if you need every single itty bitty tiny detail, like, given to you, spoon-fed to you for the story and everything, you should just be a player. And that's my genuine take at the end of the day. If you have a complete and total inability to improvise any aspect of the game, or to use your own fucking imagination to put two things together, right? There's nothing that anyone can do to help you, right? That's not
But even that's weird, because my players have the ability to improvise and take situations as they come and add to them and deal with them naturally. It's such a bizarro comment. I'm actually looking at the comment right now. I'm tempted to go hilarious comment, bro. 10 out of 10.
It's crazy. I mean, there's some other people that write plenty of stuff in this space that people read and listen to that basically say, if this requires any work from me whatsoever, it's not good. And that is a terrible opinion. And that is just crazy. That's just so insane to me. Like, that's when I GM, that's the shit I like. I like the prep. I like the improv. I like feeling like I'm a player and having to improv as much as I'm asking my players to, having to put things together as much as they are. It doesn't make any sense to me why, if all you're doing is reading off of it, then why aren't the players just playing with an oracle or something? What is your purpose?
Yeah, what are you doing? All you're doing, honestly, is
reading the box text and then just doing, okay, well, they did A, so B, and then C, then D, and then. What is your purpose? Like, I don't understand the point of the GM. If all you're doing is regurgitating exactly what's written in front of you, what is your point? What is the purpose of this?
Meat Castle Games.
I was gonna say, I saw like 10 messages pop up, so I didn't know what if
you aren't really GMing. You're just reciting from a flow chart, which is so true. Like, what a weird comment. Like, wow, I really need all of this laid out for me, or else I don't understand how it works. So what a bizarre.
Yeah.
Like, what a bizarre way to think about like adventures and tabletop games. I mean, it's just weird to me because, like, obviously we've been doing this for a while, but like I played 5e for a really long time, and I played Cypher System after that, and those adventures still, when I ran adventures for that, I'm like, oh, we're tweaking this as our own. Like. What do you mean context? The context one's weird. Like, context for the dungeon, it's like, dude, it's a generic wooded dungeon. Put it anywhere.
It's a level 1.
Yeah.
Barrow. You need more setting? It's a fucking mound with a dead king inside. I'm sorry, the companion novel is still being written. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's crazy to me. And yes, Meat Castle also said this is really more about hating the culture around adventures than the adventures itself. It's both. I hate them both. I'm fueled by hate. Blood doesn't run through these veins. It's pure, unadulterated hatred. I
like adventures. I mean, I definitely have run enough to where I don't like certain ones, and I don't like certain things about them. But for the most part, especially in the indie space, the adventures are pretty good. So
at the end of the day, I don't. It's hit or miss, right? You know what? I'll tell you the adventure that made me hate adventures. It was 5e. It was Princes of the Apocalypse.
God,
it's a fucking terrible adventure. I'm not even going to get into why. It's just so bad.
I think your like adventure experience with 5e has really colored your opinion overall. Like, I'd still say they're fairly hit or miss, but the indie ones are usually way.
I will disagree to a point. I think that it opened my eyes to the flaws of a lot of stuff, but the thing is, like, I'm not saying that all the adventures are bad, but I will very rarely play an adventure as written front to back. What I'll most often do is pull out the highlights that I enjoy or that I know are my players' kind of vibes, right? And then I'll lay those locations out to them, or I'll pull an NPC out and put in something else. Like, more than anything, I use adventures as just a giant toolbox, and I open it up and I pull out the pieces that I want to use. I very rarely will run an adventure like front to back as written, just because at the end of the day, there's still a narrative involved, and if it's not quite how my brain works, I'm just going to tweak it so it fits my brain, and I'm fine with that. And that's why I like rules light system and short adventure locations versus some like giant mega campaign, because the problem is the bigger an adventure gets, it's kind of like it's with anything, right? A small adjustment going forward a little bit is small, but a small adjustment that goes a mile ahead, you're going to be half a mile off track by the farther it gets out. So when you fuck with campaigns, it's this ripple effect that's going to go through the entire thing. So I would much rather have location.
I mean, and that makes sense because, like, my opinion of adventures is more positive than yours, but all the adventures I run are essentially like, they're
one shots,
a couple locations. Yeah, 2 shots. They're like, hey, here's a few ideas of maybe how you got here, but it doesn't really matter how you got here. Like, figure it out with your party. And then here's some locations, here's some stuff in the locations. Have a good time. And that's the whole thing.
Well,
I'm like, perfect.
Look at the longest that we've run for a while here on the show. The longest thing I think we've ever really run on the show was In the Light of a Setting Sun with John Davis. Yeah. And what was that adventure if not just a series of literally random rolled locations? And the story that emerged from it, the story of our characters, was the emergent narrative. There was a sick town, get vaccine, that's it, and then everything else happened in between was the narrative that emerged during play, which is how I like to play, which is how my opinion, this is how I like to play. I'm not trying to make broad sweeping statements for the most part. I also had a friend recently tell me another story about comments, right? A friend that writes adventures told me about a comment they got on a 2-page one-shot, right? And it amounted to the very classic, why would my adventurers not just run away bullshit? And it's like,
I saw this conversation happen.
And it's going to stay anonymous.
Yeah. I'm gonna call anybody out.
And it's just the stupidest fucking critique because it's a fucking game.
Yeah,
because it's a fucking game. Because it's a game. Because it's a game. I don't understand. TTRPGs are games. You sit down to play the game.
You're
I don't
totally
give
cut
a
out.
fuck. It's a game. Like, stop being precious with your bullshit. It's a fucking game. Why would the adventurers go into the town? Because you are the GM and there are players and there's a town in front of them. There is an expectation. There is no such thing as pure role play, whatever. There's always the expectation that I shouldn't break this shit. This is where the GM wants me to go. I'm gonna go there because that's the whole reason we came tonight. That's the reason we got the Mountain Dew and the fucking Fritos, and we're playing the fucking game because it's a fucking game.
My thing is also just like, for me personally, I would never ask a question like that too, because like if we were playing, like a lot of times I'll gather several adventures and I'll put them in a hex map together. So if my players come to something and they're like, we're not going to go into this, I'm like, okay, whatever. Like that might end our night if I have nothing else prepped, but that's a choice that they can make. But
and that's
also,
fine. But
my players aren't assholes though. They would be like, or we're doing this tonight, so let's fucking go in.
That's two things for that. One, if you have a player that rolls up to the planned adventure you have and goes, well, I don't want to do that. And that's the kind of player you say, you're not playing on my game anymore. You're that guy.
Totally.
We don't have that guys at my table, right? Like this is what's planned.
I actually don't have any of those guys at my table. They'll lean into any insane bullshit I put in front of them.
As they should, because it's a fucking game. That'd be so weird for someone to roll up to a game of basketball and be like, but why would I shoot the ball? Yeah. I don't give me my motivation. Why would I dribble? Why can't I just walk? Because it's a fucking game. I don't, you hurt me. You hurt me, people. Like, you make my brain bleed. And it's insane to me that is the thought process. That is a broken thought process in the TTRPG space that has a lot of very, very broken thought processes that make no fucking sense. It is stupid discourse that has just been filtered and telephoned into people's brains that make them ask stupid questions that don't matter because someone asked those questions 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The people will go because that's the fucking game. But here's the issue. Again, it was a one shot. So this isn't just, oh, we decided tonight that we're not going to go to this town tonight. We know you had it planned, but we really wanted to go here. And you're like, oh, on my hex map, then we'll go there. If it's literally just a one shot, you guys are all coming over just to play this one shot. That's what's prepped. What the totally. That's just the dumbest.
It's an insane decision. So, my players also would only really bypass anything if they knew there were other things that they could do. They want to come to the table and do things. So It was a really insane conversation. It's a really insane question, but unfortunately, that's a byproduct of the internet, is that we are able to all interface with each other, and a lot of people are incredibly dumb, or sometimes they just ask questions just to ask a question. It's like, you don't come off any more intelligent just because you're asking a question.
Sea lioning, trolling, people that think that being a piece of shit is a personality. It's not. It's a flaw. You're broken. Yeah. You're a broken human. Realistically, you're taking up space that a better human could be taking up. The sperm behind you should have won is realistically how I feel about it.
And obviously, we're talking about our close friend Chris Cox, the CEO of Hasbro.
You know it. What else? I feel like I had another rant about adventures that I was really going to go off. Those are the two main ones, though. And yes, I personally. My thought are, I personally don't really like running adventures as written often, because unless I find something like Nate, whose style of play really fits the way my brain works, then an adventure could be really well written and have a lot of great stuff, but I'm always going to tweak it a little bit to fit how my brain works. I'm just going to bump it in here and there and get it in, right? So I don't hate adventures. Yeah. I also, though, then at that point can just, here's location, here's NPC, play. You know what I mean?
I agree. That's why I like a lot of the Mothership stuff, because that's how a lot of it's set up. It's like, here's some locations, some stuff is happening you can interface with. There's a few different factions that exist there. And then they also sometimes will give you a timeline. It's like, well, yeah, if you come back in 3 weeks, here's a couple things that might have changed so that the location feels alive.
That's great.
But how your characters move through that, who they decide to join up with or take on missions, that's a emergent narrative decision of the players. it's not because there's like, here's the story for this adventure module.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is I don't hate adventures. I will say I actively, vehemently hate the culture around adventures, especially in the TTRPG space. And there are a number of people who are like, we need more adventures. And it's like, A, write them. B, at the end of the day, realistically, a lot of adventures are bad. And well, I think there's just like most of the TTRPG space, there's 100 people saying the exact same thing 100 different ways and arguing about who's right. Yeah. Even though they're all saying the exact same fucking thing, but because everyone uses different vocabulary, different thought process, right? They look at the same thing from this way versus this way, or that way versus that way. At the end of the day, are people arguing, saying the exact same fucking thing, but they all say it a little bit differently, so it's fucking stupid, right? Like, but there's people that are just like, fuck systems, adventure is the only thing that matters. Like, and I will say this, and I will argue with anyone, join our fucking Discord. You cannot have system matters.
System matters.
And if you, don't even get me into my round of system matters. System matters because, like, not in the GNS kind of fucking way, right? Like, we all know. No. And here's the problem with system matters as a discourse. I'll give 30 seconds for this, right? There are basically 3 schools of thought, in my opinion, three reactions when you say system matters to people. There's people that actually understand the context of that, have read the source material on that, have read the discussions about that, and understand what I mean when I say system matters, right? They get the Forge and GNS and the rebuttals and broken brains and all the reasons that Ron Edwards is a piece of shit, which basically destroyed any conversation you had around system matters, right? You have people that understand, right? Then you have people that started playing games in like 2020 that have no fucking clue what system matters actually means, that have no context for what they're saying, and are arguing about something that they know nothing about, right? Or 3, you get the people who who go, system doesn't matter, as like a fallover from all of the people that were like rebutting against the Ron Edwards GNS stuff, and it's just now like basically like a moral ground that they're taking. The system doesn't matter because fuck Ron Edwards, like, which is just a stupid take. It's a stupid fucking take. If your entire thought process on this conversation is just, well, he was shitty and I don't want to be associated with someone shitty, so I'm going to say it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. My point saying that, though, is that you can't have adventure without system. Like, you literally can't.
Yeah.
You can have system without adventure. You can't have adventure without system. And my point is, in a very specific way, right, as soon as you start interacting with the adventure and you need any type of resolution, that is system.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree. That is system, yeah. The system is only the resolution and decision-making mechanics for what you're doing. So
there you go. And that's all I'm saying. But my point with adventure is the definition of adventure, I think, is so broad that when people say we need more adventures, I would love to know what the fuck you mean, right? Because adventure to me is some locations and some NPCs with some vibes on it. Give me that. That's all I fucking want. Is adventure to you is a mass fucking narrative campaign? Like, what is adventure? Because I don't want your story. I want locations. Do you think adventure means a couple of maybe tied locations with some NPCs, maybe a map, like a general overall thing? Like, what is adventure? Right? And this is a rhetorical question, but like, that's my point.
Adventure is what happens at the table, guys.
Thank you. Well, no, play is what happens at the table.
I know. But, I'm parroting that statement. Yeah.
So my point is, saying system matters is basically fucking stupid, because again, you're gonna have 66% of the people out there that have no fucking clue what you're saying or disagreeing on it, and for whatever. But saying you need more adventures is just as fucking pointless, because what do you mean? That's like saying that something's OSR. It's 2025. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, stop using these individual words that are interpreted in 100 different ways by 1,000 different people and say what you want. If you need more adventures, describe what you mean, right? Like, and that's my thoughts on adventures. Is I don't want most of your adventures. Just give me cool story. Just give me cool locations, cool NPCs, some cool loot with some vibes, maybe some stuff that links up, like the skeleton room. Like one thing that Nate does a lot is like he leaves little teasers around the entire dungeon where like, oh, this dude is purple because of this stuff over here, and that's the head that they're playing soccer with of that guy over there. Like you're just like, oh shit, this is from that other place. I love that. That's as much as I want, right? I don't want your novel.
Oh, the
just write short
names on
stories.
these statues in each room are important to this last door in the room. You know?
I just think there's a lot of people that should just be writing short stories and LARPing, you know, instead of playing tabletop role playing games.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the necessity of like using these terms that can be interpreted very differently, like adventure or OSR or whatever, because they are like in the space, they are marketing terms, right? Like I see that something is an adventure. I have a rough idea of what that thing is, you know? But yeah, I mean, adventure could be several different things. It can span several different amounts of time of play. But yeah, more, circling all the way back, if you were looking for a one-shot dungeon that can fit nicely into what?
Are you trying to end the episode?
No, I'm just circling back.
Oh, okay. Because I need a rant from you, buddy. Like, what are we doing here?
I have no rants about this. I feel great. I'm having a great time. I don't have any strong rants right now. But yeah, what would you want me to rant about?
Anything, just show some passion.
Sorry, you're the rant guy. I'm the funny one. So
is that what it is? Yeah, I mean that kind of is. I'm the edgelord piece of shit.
That's exactly what it is.
You're the comedy relief.
Realize that's what this is. That's what this has been the whole time. For like three something years, You're the guy with the great hair. I'm the bald one.
I have great hair, dude. I'll be catching you sooner than later, buddy. This thing keeps pushing back and back. But you know what's fucking funny? My hair is just my hair. It's always just my hair to me. When I ran into Logan Dean at Gen Con, I was like, I had a mask on, so I totally get that. But I was like, bro, when you come on the show again? And he was like, and because he had already introduced himself to me, because I was like, oh, Ryan. He's like, oh, Logan Dean. I'm like, cool. Has no idea who I am. So then I was like, oh, so when you come on the show again? He's like, and I pulled my mask down, and he was like, and then I took my hat off, and he was like, oh, dude. And he was like, I didn't notice we thought the swoop hair. And I'm like, I didn't know that swoopy hair was a thing. The swoop hair is your thing. I did not know that was a thing. Richard said, I'm like, bro, Richard, like, Richard Room, am I known for swoopy hair? And he was like, yeah. I was like, I literally could not. Apparently my hair is a brand, which makes no fucking sense to me because it's just hair. But I did not know that was the thing I was known for. I thought I was just being like an edgelord piece of shit, and that was my thing. Anyway, so Nate's Dungeons, and why I like Nate's Adventures is because they are written the way my brain works, and I like them.
Yeah, very fair. I like them because there's a lot of narrative gaps that I can fill,
But there's so much. But between that, like in the spaces where there is stuff, that stuff is always so clever and good and funny. Like every adventure you read, there's some part where you just go, oh.
Yeah, I always chuckle at something,
Fuck you, Newcastle. But yeah. Well, we keep saying this.
Because I'm not even reading the chat right now, but
yeah, I mean you're rocking a Newcastle shirt right now. But every time Christian ends up jumping in the chat, I'm always like, bro, you should have just been on for this episode. You should have just like come on and done this. We've been talking about that a lot though, and we've said just so people out there know that our first guest for a third person discussion or third person interview
episode.
Yeah, our first threesome would be with Christian, with Meat Castle. So expect them on the show at some point. We'll wrangle them. They've been on the show before, but not. I don't think. They've been on the show with you playing games, right? But they've only done a review because we ran Rant. Matt Morris ran a weekly scroll Lilliputian adventure with the three of us, correct? Is that a memory you have?
That's not a memory I have.
There was like a turtle. Like they literally wrote the adventure with weekly scroll like hints in it and shit.
It does sound vaguely familiar, but you know me.
Christian's there was like we blew up like a cave full of bats at the end.
I do vaguely remember this actually, but
Okay.
not strong
All
enough
right.
to like summon it up right now. Hold on, I gotta see the thumbnail for it, and I'll know it immediately.
All right. Well, while you look that up, I'm ranted
Okay.
out, and you've been tired this entire time. So I think that's going to wrap our episode for today. This was just discussion. Honestly, this was a vehicle for me to get some rants out. But also, we finally talked about an adventure on the game, and this was a great one. I love Barrow the Elf King. It's free on Nate's itch page. $5 if you want the PDF version, but you can just run it off the HTML. Highly recommend it for a great level 1 adventure. Again, Cairn, Bastards, vanilla game, any light kind of dungeon-ish game you want to run. It's super easy to stat for, and just really interesting. Has a great mix of roleplay opportunities mixed with some really fun, interesting combat and puzzles. So it's fun. You should definitely go snag it and pay the $5 and print it out and run it. So
Absolutely.
what were you looking up?
I found it.
What is it?
The Lilliputian episode?
Yeah. What was
Yeah,
the
I found
actual
it.
adventure called?
Isle at the Edge of the Horizon.
There it is. There it is from Man of Dawn, Matt Morris, who will be coming on the show sooner than later for
Nice.
Mouse Ritter Month coming up in
Nice.
November. Yeah. Definitely gonna have them on to run some stuff. Maybe they can convince Andre and Isaac. We've had Andre on the show before, but
Sure.
Isaac Williams would be a great guest to come on to talk during Mouse Ritter Month.
Would be very cool.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. But we're just kind of rambling here at the end. We're gonna wrap the episode. I don't know. So tomorrow, are we actually hopping on tomorrow?
Yes, I mean I built
Yes.
a board, so sure hope we are.
So tomorrow, as I said, we were gonna do Necropolis, but we are gonna do Mech 28 from Berserker Works. Find them on Instagram. I think is what they primarily use. Berserker Works. You can grab Mech 28 off their itch page. I do believe it's free. It's just a text file. It slaps. It's a rules light mech game with small group of peoples, like a small band.
Yeah. It's each person gets like 3 or 4 mechs depending on the map. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so we'll play that tomorrow. Tomorrow will probably be like just an intro episode into like the rules, maybe screw around with it a little bit, and then probably the following week we'll really get hard
test
into
my
it.
map too. I made like an interesting kind of non-traditional from what I think people would make map. It's a very choked city. And I put in some like little spaces for mechs to hide behind buildings and to cut
Sick.
through streets.
Sick.
So yeah, I think it'll be cool.
Cool. All right, so check us tomorrow, and I've decided to. We originally said that with the not weekly war games, it doesn't go on VOD, it doesn't go on podcast, it doesn't go on YouTube or anything. So if you're not there, you don't get to see it. But what we decided to do is start leaving them up on the Twitch page. I think the Twitch VODs. I don't think I'll start highlighting them, maybe. But the Twitch VODs last about 2 weeks before Twitch auto deletes them. So if you want to watch not weekly war games, just catch it. On the catch it
On the Twitch?
on the Twitch when sometime. That's it. We're both tired. We will see you all tomorrow if you decide to come on, and I think Monday we have a guest coming on.
Cool.
I don't
Looking
know
forward
who.
to that.
I don't remember. Is it who I think it is?
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
let's say it now because I want this episode up before Monday so people know.
Okay, cool.
We're gonna be talking to Kobayashi, baby.
Oh yeah, cool. Fuck yeah.
Very
cool.
very excited to talk to Kobayashi. If you don't know, you'll know. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.